some drawing together.
Pardon me? Together? A fine pencil like me doesn't hang out with a ordinary charcoal like you.
You're the best. We will see. Phony.
Combining charcoal and graphite in one drawing. Does it fit together, or will it end in a complete disaster? Hey everybody, welcome back to John Meteor Art. In today's video I will show you how to draw a hyper-realistic eye by combining charcoal and graphite together. So, why using charcoal and graphite together? Well, charcoal is the best way to create good contrast and smooth shadings without any shine, while graphite pencil is the best way to make fine details. Using both could bring your artwork to another level. There are some tools to get the best out of the charcoal and the graphite as well. How to use it I will show you now. But enough talking, it's time for drawing. I like it to be busy. This is why I decided to draw an eye of an old man with a lot of character and details. First, we start with a grid to add some of the individual lines of the reference. Eyeball, iris, eyelids and some characteristic wrinkles and reflections. I usually start very slow and take my time to put everything on the right place. A grid is very helpful to keep the right proportions, but don't be too detailed at the beginning. When we finish the preliminary drawing, it's time to determine the main volumes and shadings. It's important to add the main shadings first and then working through to finer and finer details. Using graphite powder and a fine brush is the best way to achieve evenly and huge shadings. This is very helpful, especially for portraits, and will save you a ton of time. You like my video so far? Well, maybe it's time to do something crazy and hit the subscribe button. But let's go back to this drawing. After accomplishing the preliminary work, it's time to dig into details and contrast. Charcoal pencil and blending stump are my first choice to do that. For really dark shadows, I use a Pierre Noir pencil and smoothen it out with a brush to increase the volume. To draw wrinkles and skin pores, I use charcoal and graphite pencil as well, smoothing that out with a brush and put some highlights with a kneaded eraser on top of it. My old man got some grey eyebrows. This is when my Tombow mono eraser comes into place. It's important to sharpen the edges to erase fine hairs out of the charcoal. Well, now it's time to create the most important part of our drawing, the eyeball. The eyeball is, as the name suggests, a sphere with a very even and shiny surface. So first we add the round shape with charcoal powder and a fine brush to achieve this smooth 3D look. Then we add the iris, but don't draw it too sharply. I use a blending stump to smooth out the line between iris and eyeball. With this technique I also draw all the fine blood vessels of the eye. When we are done with the main shadings and the details, we can go finer and finer. In this stage I use every tool I've got: charcoal, Pierre Noir, graphite, brushes, blending stumps and, very important, the kneaded eraser to make fine details even finer. Talking of details, just an example, but look at your reference sharply and you will see that there are reflections, not only on the iris but also on the eyeball itself or on the fine edge between eyeball and eyelid. Creating all these fine details are the key for a good artwork, so this is why it's so important to understand the structure and the shape when you really want to go hyper-realistic. The iris got a beautiful structure which looks like a fine fabric or a fine net, so please don't do this. I see it very often, but it looks more like a wagon wheel or something like that. When you want a hyper-realistic look, it's important to dig deep into the details of your reference and assembling it to your drawing without too much simplifications. Okay, we finished the eyeball. Now we work around and create the skin for the eyelid, the cheek and the nose. Like I said before, it's important to understand the different structures and shapes. For example, the wrinkles near the cheek have more volume, deeper cuts and it's more porous because the skin is thicker. While the skin on the eyelid is very thin, this is why the wrinkles are a lot finer there. To assemble all these different textures we need the graphite pencil and the kneaded eraser for brighter and high detail parts, while the Pierre Noir and the charcoal pencil are the better choice for deeper and dark wrinkles or very dark shadowed areas. Alright, we are almost there. Here's my advice for a natural look for the eyelashes. In my reference the eyelashes are whitish, so I erase them out of the charcoal ground with my Tombow mono eraser. I add not too many single hairs and make them not too uniformly, just let some room for, a little bit of randomness, so it looks way more natural.
This is the end. Bum bum bum.
Well, not quite yet. There's one thing left to do. Finishing the eyebrows. My old reference men have not only gray hairs, some of them are still dark. When you're drawing a single hair, it's important to do it in one move. Just be confident and do it with a good amount of pressure. At the end of the hair, your pressure will be lesser, so the hair at the tip will also be thinner. Then I work on the final shading with the charcoal pencil and smoothing it out with a brush. And then we made it! Phew! You reached the end of this tutorial. Congratulations! So what's my conclusion? Well, good contrast and details together make the difference. Working with charcoal and graphite in one drawing need a little bit of practice, but I think it's a very good way to make hyper-realistic drawings, because you combine the advantages of two worlds. Charcoal is good for matte and dark values, and it's a fast way for smooth and huge shadings, while graphite pencil on the other hand is the best way to make super fine details for brighter parts on your drawing. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Write me a comment if you want to see more stuff like that, and hit subscribe if you are new here. Take care and see you soon to a new video.